Hello,
So
everybody.
where did
Hey,
you get
how's it
that
going?
video of me dancing?
I know, isn't that some jams? Hey, Ronald. Hey, Earl. How are y'all doing this evening?
Oh,
Good. How
doing
about you?
good, doing good.
Good. So we come on here to discuss the almighty thermostat holder bracket, whatever you want to call it. Earl, I guess we can start out with you. You're the brains behind the operation to start
Well,
off
so the biggest thing with me is I'm short, and I mean I don't know too many people that are 6'10" in the industry. Uh, but when you're using like my hatching racks are 85 inches tall. Freedom breeder racks are well over my head, and the lighting in my room is so bright that it puts glares on all my thermostats. And Freedom Breeder had a stainless steel thermostat holder for their thermostats, and I reached out to Freedom Breeder. Uh, it's been a year and a half ago, and I asked if they would make the brackets for all the thermostats, and I was told no. They were only doing it for their stuff. So
Hmm.
I kept trying to find somebody to build something for me, and Ronald actually called me about something else. I don't even remember exactly what it
About some
was.
ASFs.
Yeah, about some ASFs, and I found out he was in the machine industry, and so I said something about making these thermostat holders, and at that time we were going to do them out of stainless steel, so they all matched,
Oh, absolutely.
and unfortunately, to build one out of stainless steel, you're looking at about probably about $80, $80 to $90 uh, a piece, and that's unaffordable. It's not feasible. And so Ronald looked into it for me, and he called me back a couple weeks later, and he said, "Look," he said, "I got an idea. I can do this, out of plastic." And so we made the first prototype, and it was way wrong. But that was my fault. Uh, so we made the second prototype, and it was close. It needed some work. Uh, we ended up doing a third prototype to get it right, and then I asked for one for like my giant cages in here, uh,
Yes.
and I've got I don't know if you can see them up there or not, but uh,
Oh, they're up there.
yeah, they're up there. So it was the same thing in here. The cages are so tall that I couldn't see the thermostat. I couldn't read them.
Right.
Uh, there's glares on them, and you had to back up across the room to look up there, and it's ridiculous. So uh, we made a flat top thermostat holder. So that was our fourth prototype, and originally we were only going to do them in one color, and then we decided we'd do them in three colors, and then we decided, we'd do them in every color.
Right.
Uh, so, I'm basically the designer behind it. It was my idea to get it started. Ronald's the man behind it, though, because I mean he's doing all the work, and uh, you know, unfor- unfortunately, I can't go out in the snake room, but all mine are bright orange. And when I say bright orange, I'm talking orange.
He's
Uh,
got you taken care of.
yeah. Uh, so that's probably one of the rest of mine there.
Actually,
uh,
yeah.
I
but
love that orange too.
they're amazing, and guys, what we were looking for is something to where that's the flat top. So we were looking for something to kick the thermostats up at about a 45-degree angle, to where we can actually see them standing right under them. And we had questions about different thermostats. These things are going to hold any thermostat that you have. Uh, and they're amazing, especially for us shorter people, or let's say vertically challenged people. It
Fun
makes it
size.
really really easy. So I'm gonna pass it on to Ronald and kind of get his take on how this all got started. I mean, but again, I mean, it was an idea that I had that I'd been frustrated. like my room is only 14 feet wide, but I have to go from one side of the room to the other just to see the thermostats. And
Exactly.
and now you can stand right under a thermostat and be able to read it. It just made everything, totally easier for us.
Right.
So,
And I know it does for me too. I'm a little 5'3", so
yeah, we
walking in
weren't
the snake room, it's a little difficult.
even really looking to produce these for sale at first. I mean, and I started having people ask me about them, and we discussed it, and he geared up to make a bunch of them, and I really and truly, this is all on him. I just came up with the idea and helped to get the prototypes out there. I'll promote this product. Anything
Absolutely.
that's going to make our industry or make things easier for us in this industry, I'm all for. And
Especially the swim size people.
I was just glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Hey, I want to shout out some people here real quick. We have Snakes and the Fat Man in the building. We have Brian. We have LMK, Basement Pythons, Forward Motion. I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting our first podcast. So, okay, Ronald, let's start. Let's get into the good stuff.
What you got?
What I got? Well, I want to know, first of all, what's the process for you taking the orders?
Basically, what I do is when somebody reaches out, I find out what kind of thermostat they have, what color, and then from when it comes to the color, I give them like different shades to choose from. So if they want green, I'll send them a couple shades of green, whatever I can get as far as colors, and then let them decide. And then from there, find out what racket's going on. I don't know if anybody knows, but the Freedom Breeder and the ARS is a little bit of a bigger square tubing than the Freedom Breeder, so we had to make
I want to
changes.
add to that. ARS has 3 different size tubing. So,
Yeah.
guys, when you're ordering these things, make sure you know what rack you have. Get a measurement on the tubing. They have a 1 inch, an inch and an eighth, and an inch and a quarter tubing.
Yes.
So make sure he knows what size tubing it is ahead of time.
Yeah, because we found that out at Arlington. That because we tried it on one of their racks, and then they had another rack, so we tried it on that one, and it didn't fit on the other one.
Oh,
it was like, what's going on here, And so yeah, so basically just I got to get the type of rack, the color, and then from there, I mean, depending on how many I got ahead of, at that point,
right.
Depends on the lead time.
So is this product made from recycled material?
Yes.
See, I think that's amazing. I really do.
And another thing is we're trying to keep the lead times down as much as possible. I mean, I'm still a part of this. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any part of the manufacturing side of it. Ronald's in contact with me weekly on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still a big part of, seeing it through. And I always will be. This is a product that was very innovative. This is something that's been needed for a long time. Absolutely. And honestly, I don't understand why nobody, had thought about it sooner. It's an amazing product.
Well, to me, the price was just right, and when we walked up to the table, we really didn't notice them at first because it was just a very small setup. But when I seen that orange, I was like, oh, what is that?
Well, that was another thing is we wanted to make a price point where it was affordable for anybody and everybody. And
yes.
And it doesn't matter which racks you have. The cool part about the flat top is if you only have like a 6 high rack, you flip it around backwards and it'll kick the thermostat up the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool,
Yes.
Either way,
it's just it's a really cool product. I can't say enough about it. Like I said, just because I designed it, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's just something that has been needed for a long time. And I was really glad to hook up with Ronald and get this going.
Earl, I agree 200%. I mean, the other ones, what are their prices running right now? Like 50 to 75
The
ish,
aluminum ones are the stainless. I think they're 40,
40. So, and how much are yours?
25.
25. And so, if I had multiple racks, which I will in the future, I hope, God's willing, um, that's a lot more affordable.
But the problem is the stainless steel one is only for the Freedom Breeder thermostat.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I don't use Freedom Breeder thermostats. I use Vivarium Electronics. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in Vivarium. I've been using them for since I got started. I'm
Yes,
actually
sir.
a distributor for them. So it's hard to switch over to something else when you've got, I don't even know how many thermostats I have here, but I mean there's a bunch.
You have a
And
lot of animals, Earl.
well, and the thing about it is I have a lot of trust in Vivarium Electronics.
And I do too.
Uh, I've been around Rich for years and years, and Rich has always backed my products 100%. Uh, there's not a lot of thermostats out there that I really like. I've got some other thermostats in here that when I've bought other collections out, I get herp stats and stuff, and they just get stacked up. I won't use them.
Exactly.
So I mean, I got a Herpstat 6 that I just got on a rack that I purchased, and I mean I guess it's a good thermostat. I don't know, but over the years, I've heard a lot of bad things about Herpstats. I mean, I've never really heard any bad things about Vivarium. I've had one Vivarium thermostat go out on me, and when I say it went out, it cooked. I mean, there was smoke coming out of it,
Oh, wow.
and it was my fault. I took a 700-watt thermostat, hooked it up to a 1500-watt heater, not paying attention to what I was doing, and I literally smoked it. And when I called Rich and told him what I did, he overnighted me one and told me, "Don't worry about it. It's done."
That's amazing.
And so, I mean, I've had, I think, one thermostat. The one thing, and you're going to see this with any thermostat. The only thing that I have against any thermostat is the probes. I keep a lot of probes on hand because that's the only thing that ever fails is a probe.
Yeah.
So, that being said, when I asked, for them to build me one out of stainless steel, I wasn't trying to market anything. I just wanted something for myself. And like I said, when me and Ronald got together and started doing this, once I seen the product, Kyle was here and Kyle's like, "Holy crap, I want one of them." And then people started coming in here and seeing them, and they're like, I only had one at that time, the first prototype.
Yeah, because whenever I told him plastic, he was actually skeptical on the plastic. He was like, "I don't know if that's gonna work," and I'm like, "Trust me, it ain't what you think."
Well, I was very skeptical, and and it's a product that I'm gonna put my name behind, so I want to make sure it's a good product, And so after we finally got the first prototype, fixed and got all the bugs out of it, so should I say, it's not just like you just put something over it and then call it done, because there's grooves that had to be cut in it we didn't know. There were several things that we had to adjust for, and once we finally got it fixed, I was very, very happy. I stood on one, and guys, I'm not little. I stood on one, and it held my weight. So it's going to hold your thermostat.
And I've dropped several of them.
And they do. They feel very dirty. I've squeezed it and, just kind of banged it against stuff just to do my own test,
Yeah, I've done a mini drop test by accident.
So yeah, it was just something that it has been needed in this industry, and like I said, there's not very, very many of us that are 6'10" and can see those thermostats over the top of the racks. And I mean, it just it was designed for a short person.
Yes,
I'm
and
short.
I also love that it can be done in any color. As long as it's planned ahead.
Well, see, they were originally going to be solid black. That's it.
Mhm.
And he sends me one in orange, and I was like, "What the hell?" And he goes, "Well, I got some orange material because I know you liked orange." And so then we discussed it for a little while, and it was like, are we gonna try, you know, doing different colors or whatever? And I was like, dude, that's up to you, you know,
Yeah,
and because it's hard to have, you know, 100 different colors on hand. So
absolutely.
basically, what happens is he's gonna send out a color chart. If you're wanting blues, you know, he's gonna send you out like 3 different blues to choose from, and then he'll order the material from there instead of having it sitting on hand at all
Yeah.
times. You know, because it's very costly to have that much material sitting on hand. So
Absolutely.
And not only that, certain distributors have certain colors. So, I mean, there could be 100 different reds, but then I'd have to go to different distributors to get the different colors. So if I focus on just so many shades of each one, I'm sure I'm going to find whatever anybody needs or anybody wants. I mean, it would be
Right.
rare that I would probably have to get a odd color,
Hmm.
So I think that's probably going to be the better way to go with it.
Absolutely. It's neat that they can do it, look at their logo and say, hey, I want this color. And I'm sure with this, depending on how many they order, you know, you'd may be more apt to do a specialty color. You
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean,
you're ordering 25, 30 of them. Heck yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean,
so
anybody. I mean, if they wanted something special, I mean, if I can find it,
That's
I'll do.
awesome.
I'll do it. I mean,
hey,
it just
I'm reading the chats. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm reading the chats, and somebody says that they had a VE thermostat stuck on full blast, and that's really strange because when they fell off. Uh, that's one of the real reasons why I use that thermostat, because when they fell off. So
Yeah.
I just, it's weird seeing somebody's that's stuck on full on.
Yep. Well, that was Will. I guess that happened to.
hmm,
Anyway, about the colors and stuff, um, I've been asked, I've been talking to people, behind the scene and being like, okay, what do you think about this product? What can be done different that you think would help improve the product? And the only thing I got was to put something in behind it to where the cords can go through the bottom of it and into the thermostat just to make it a little bit more secure. And these are people from California and Nevada that, are asking about this kind of stuff, something a little bit more sturdy, because whenever, the ground starts rocking,
so
would
like,
that be a possibility?
so basically, they want it to come up through the bottom.
I've heard just anything to be able to put a cord through. I mean, and to me, it looks like that it could already be done that way pretty much.
Well, so I move my racks away from the wall, you know, every so often to clean behind the racks.
Mhm.
And I actually had the ceiling fan knock one of the thermostats off of the thermostat holder the other day,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it didn't hurt the thermostat holder. So I'm, you know,
that's
I
good.
mean, it did crack the housing on the thermostat, but
Well,
so I don't know. I
Well, at
mean,
least it outstanded the thermostat.
I've been asked that, and I've been asked if you can stack them on those. And I know with the VE that they're built to stack.
I've never tried it. I guess that's something that we'd have to look into. You got multiple over there. How many you got
Earl.
on that rack, Earl?
so I only have one per rack.
And see, that's how I would keep it.
Well, I think it's made because it's got. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the bottom of a VE has holes. Maybe it might
Yeah,
kind of like
they stack on top of each other. If
they
you want.
lock in.
Yeah.
Well, if it locks in, it should be fine because it's being held by that first one. But I mean, I'll definitely look into it and see.
Well, I absolutely love your product. And,
Thank
when
you.
we went up to Earl's table, we had met him that day in Arlington already. Fell in love with Earl already. I love him. Sorry, Bob. But we didn't really know what was sitting there. And I asked him, "Hey, what is this?" And he started explaining it to me. And like, I let him get 3 sentences in, and I was like, "Okay, order me one. I need this because I can't see up there. And now that it's tilted, it's just perfect." And, you know, we need more stuff like this in our industry. And I love that Earl is and you both are striving for different things. I know Earl has different things in the works at all times, it seems like.
Yeah, I've got a couple
Very
more
smart dude.
prototypes working right now on some other stuff. So,
Yes.
it's going to be a short period of time and you're going to see some really, really cool products come down the line. So,
And I'm so excited about that. And I would love for you to be on here to talk about those too, because this stuff is gold. People don't realize it, but in the long run, when it saves us small breeders who are just learning how to do all of this stuff, money, and especially
but
in this day and age.
it's like, we're working real closely with VivTech, trying to come out with some new products from VivTech. And I'm usually one of the test subjects, when it comes to new products.
Mhm.
With these cages, we want to go 100% interactive. So we want to put all of our cages on the website, and you'll be able to go on there and pull up, live stream cameras and see what we see 24/7. So we're
Mhm.
working on that technology right now. We're working on new cameras. We're working on a lot of stuff. Uh, and that's not just for us. That's, for the whole industry. Uh,
Right.
I mean, how cool would it be that, you're at Tinley and you can check in on your animals while you're gone?
That would be amazing.
That's
Mhm.
amazing. I mean, we can already check, humidities, temperatures, uh, there's a lot of stuff we can do already. Uh, but to actually see the animals, and how they're interacting while we're not here, I mean, that's incredible. You know, being able to see stuff hatching while we're gone, we don't
Oh,
always
yeah.
get to see everything. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's going to be really cool, getting all that done. Plus, we want to show people, what we're doing, how we're doing it, 24/7. Not just when we're doing a video in this room. You'll be able to see inside the hides and see copulation, see eggs hatching, just like we do. Uh,
Mhm.
these little guys here, the red eyes and the white eyes, we very seldom get to see one hatch because, we just find an empty egg from time to time. Well,
Right.
now we'll be able to monitor them. We know when they were laid. We know about when they're going to hatch. So now we can monitor that. So we're working on a lot of different stuff. Uh, so the vision racks, I don't personally have a vision rack to even look at. Uh, I know I, I do know somebody around here that does have the vision racks, and we can make them for the vision racks. That's not a problem. I just have to get over there and take some pictures and take one of the thermostat holders and figure out how it's going to work, and then we can get that built. So
Those are made out of tubing, huh? Like round tubing. But
yeah,
I think it's plastic.
no, it's metal tubing, and then they
Oh, it
have the
is.
plastic tie. It's kind of like the Home Depot shelving
Oh, okay.
where they stack together. So we can definitely figure something out for the vision racks. That's not a problem.
So y'all can pretty much figure out for any racks, can't you? As long as you have a prototype available to look at.
Yeah, we just need
Well,
something to look at
just a
and fit it.
yeah,
Once we get a fitment on it, then it'll be easy.
Oh, that's good.
yeah. Because I mean, it may print it and get it and tweak. Have to make a couple tweaks here and there. And but yeah, pretty much anything we can make happen.
Well, Ronald, how many 3D printers do you have?
Right now, I have two.
Okay.
But one of them I got down. I'm working on it right now. But I've basically been running off of one, which has been working fine.
Good.
I haven't had any issues with getting. I actually just shipped out one yesterday. Um, and then I'm working on Earls right now. I think I just about got those finished.
Let me answer this question correctly. So it says, how universal are these products? Will they work on the vision racks? At this
Mhm.
time, it's probably not going to work on a vision rack, but give us a little bit of time and we will
Yeah.
get one for the vision racks. That's not a problem.
It's just to get our hands on the rack to be able to just to see how it would mount, if it would be just sitting on the top, kind of like a sea serpent's rack or something, you know.
Right.
I've never seen one, so I don't know.
So
And
how
guys,
long does it take to
and
make
guys, the flat top thermostat holder, so there's nothing to actually connect it to. So it's kind of left up to you to put like two-sided tape on it.
Velcro.
Velcro, however you want to do it. The Freedom Breeder racks and the ARS racks, they actually clip over the tubing, so it holds it in place. Mine personally, I don't have anything on these cages or on my racks on the flat tops. They just sit there and they don't move. So, as long as you're not moving stuff around all the time, they're not going to move anyway. So I chose not to put anything on mine, and they're doing just fine. I've had this product for how long now? Probably 6 months.
Yeah,
The first one,
5-6 months, something like that.
yeah,
It was a lot of make it, then I'd have to ship it to him, and then he tried, so it was a lot of shipping, waiting on shipping time to get it to him to where he can try it out. I mean, I'm all the way in Louisiana. Well, it ain't that far, but
Right.
but it's a long drive. Trust me, it's a long drive.
All right, there's a question for you, Ronald.
Do you have a website? No, I don't have a website. Instagram, you can reach me, Southern Constrictions. I have a Facebook. I don't get on it that often, but I do receive messages from Messenger. I'll get her Holly to put my phone number in this link.
Yeah, if they want to reach out to you, I'll definitely.
Yeah, I don't mind anybody texting me, calling me. If I don't get back to you right away, I do work nights, so I work 6 to 6. I get off and pretty much sleep all day. So if you don't hear from me right away, I will get back to you. But I do want to do a website on it. That is something eventually that will come.
I could see a lot more 3D printed products for our industry in the future.
Oh, well, they just did one the other day for a bracket that holds the probe to the heat tape on the back of an ARS rack.
Oh, okay.
It just clips onto the metal.
Yeah, just like the Freedom Breeders.
Yeah. So
I don't even use. I just use tape.
There's going to be a lot of things coming out. I can see. I mean, it's helpful.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's plastic. I mean, it's perfect. It's solid. It could be flexible. It's just however you make it. It could be anything. So.
Yep.
There'll definitely be a lot of things I think in the future.
I know, like with me, I love the eggs that mark, like they're clips that you mark your females who's paired or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only order those from overseas, and that would be neat to be able to get that here. You'd definitely be getting a better price at it.
What are you talking about? I mean, because I've got clips that I get off of Amazon. Mine are all orange.
Okay, these clips there's like 3 eggs on them.
Oh,
snake egg. Yeah. And just like, well, especially you, as many snakes as you have in your facility. I mean, just to be able to glance over and say, okay, these have already been, they're good,
Yeah, so we use the clips just to move animals. When we're moving males around, we'll move the clip with the male. And like I said, I buy mine on Amazon. They're just key tags is all they are for like dealerships or whatever. And but we just got them all in orange. I did see one the other day that I thought was cool, but it would be kind of a pain for me because I have so many animals. But a guy had a purple rat hanging off a little clip,
Yeah.
and letting him know that there was a rat in that tub, and that's cool. But going through 6, 7, 800 snakes, putting little rats on them would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So,
They actually are, because I do have those clips, and I would rather just go with the plain Jane clip just to hurry up and clip on while I'm feeding.
I don't do anything. I leave the tub, open a little bit so I know
That's
there's
what I
something
do.
in there.
Yeah.
And Again, when I move males, I'll leave the tub open about 2 inches. That way I know there's nothing in that tub. And
Yeah.
when I walk in the door, I see that tub's open. I go immediately looking for that male.
Right.
And that way it's a reminder to check, for copulations, each and every day. But yeah, when we're feeding, I just leave the tubs open where they're not open, but they're out far enough where I can see that there's something in there. And then when we go back through and check for rats, if one hasn't finished eating yet, I don't shut it all the way. I shut the rest of them, and then it reminds me to go back and make sure that there wasn't a regurge or anything like that. That the rat was down. So it just whatever works for you.
Right.
But the tag thing, I mean, God, that's a lot of tags.
That's why I just like the egg tags. I would love to have that. The rat tags is just too much, And
What would
the
you
fat
use
number,
the egg tags for? To let you know there's eggs, or?
you put that to the females that have already been paired. That's what we do with ours. So
Okay.
we just keep going through and checking, and we know,
Right.
which ones we've paired first, and you can actually write on them too.
Yeah, I
And
just tag
that
my
makes it
tubs.
really convenient.
Yeah, I have labels that go on the tubs, and I just reach down and write the next date on it when they locked. Uh,
Right.
and then when they're getting ready, well, like ovulations, when they ovulate, then I'll write on the tub with chalk pens
Mhm.
uh, the date of the ovulation, and then when they shed, I'll write their lay date on the tubs because it wipes off real easy.
Yeah.
Unless you use the black chalk pen, that's a nightmare. It doesn't come off well. But I did learn a trick. If you take a dry erase marker and just squiggle all over it, and then it'll wipe right off then.
Oh.
You can do that with permanent marker. If you accidentally used a permanent marker, like
Mhm.
on the racks, the stainless steel racks, one of the racks that I purchased from somebody, they had wrote every animal on the stainless steel. Well, it doesn't come off. So
Really?
you take a sharp uh, uh,
Dry erase.
dry erase and you just squiggle it all over it, and you'll see the black ink pulling, and then you can just wipe it off and it's clean again.
That's
Yeah.
a good trick.
Kyle taught me that trick. Having young kids that write on stuff, I'm sure that's where that came from.
Yeah. So back on the colors and the special stuff you can do for people. Um, there may be people just order one or two of these. There may be people that order big multiples of these. Do you have any special pricing for people who ordered, like, say they ordered 50 or more? Would that just be
Actually,
like, hey, call me?
me and Earl was talking about that the other day. Whenever somebody wants to do a wholesale order, um, come up with some kind of a pricing. So yeah, we're gonna try to do something. I guess depending on how many you're looking
Right.
for. But yeah, there's definitely if it's a big quantity, I'll come up with something better
We
on the
Yeah.
we
pricing.
actually have a rack builder that has reached out and is wanting to send one out with every one of his racks, and so we started discussing wholesale prices on them because they're going to have these thermostat holders on hand, and so they're going to have to buy in bulk.
Yeah.
So it is, we are working on that.
Yeah, I actually talked to him the other day. He sounds like he's on board with it. He's just got to decide what color he wants to go with.
Oh, that's good.
So he's undecided with black or gray, but I mean, either way, I think it'll complement it.
Well, I do like the gray because it just blends right in. to that, basically the metal part of the rack,
Yeah.
not tubs. So it just blends right in. But I do like the orange too. I mean, geez.
That
And I
orange
heard,
is bright.
Oh, it's
yeah,
bright. Well, what's funny is, so I made the first one for him, the orange one. I sent it to him. But then when I went for Arlington, I had some more made, but it was a different orange.
They're even brighter.
And I was like, I don't know if you're gonna like this orange. And he's like, what you mean? I said, well, I ordered a different one. I thought it was the same, but it wasn't. And when I pulled it out, he was like, oh my God, that's like way brighter. He was like, I love it.
The drawback is now I have some of the other orange, and then now I have the new bright orange ones. So
No, I think I printed enough for you to replace those.
okay. All right,
well,
so
you just send them on down the line, right?
so I've been asked, if I'd like to talk about any of the other products I've got coming down the line. I'll talk about one, and that's all I'm going to talk about right now. There is a new incubator coming. We're working on the prototype now. It's going to be a lot more affordable. It's going to be a crazy design. That's really all I can really say about it right now. Once it comes out, people are going to love it. I'm doing a monster incubator right now. I don't like walk-in incubators. So I'm doing mine. The inside of the unit will be 6 foot by 4 foot by
Wow.
20 inches deep. And it'll hold 55 clutches. And then I'll keep my old incubator that holds 33 clutches, as a backup, but just for overflow. But most of the time, I mean, 55 clutches, even if you're, like last year we did about 90. Year before that, I did like 115 clutches, but I never got out of one incubator,
Mhm.
I did have to push some around and turn some sideways to get a little more in there. I can actually get right at 40 in this incubator if I move stuff around just right. But my biggest thing was coming out with an incubator that matches my racks. So it will be PVC, but it's going to be a pretty incredible looking rack. We're doing sliding glass doors. One of the biggest things I hate about incubators is the door swing. You
Mhm.
can't really put them in corners, and it's just the door swing is kind of a pain.
Right.
So we wanted to do something with sliding glass doors. We are sealing between the glass because you got a nice little gap between the glass, and it'll have a seal there. You're still going to get some air in around the glass, which is really cool because that means you don't have to open the incubator every so often to let fresh air in. It's going to have a constant air exchange. But it's so slight it's not going to affect anything.
Mhm.
But it will let fresh air in. It will have false walls in the back. It'll have variable speed fans, so you can run the fans at whatever speeds you want. That's very important for me. I like to be able to control the airflow very well. But yeah, it's going to be a really cool design. And they're going to come in several different sizes, but they're working on the prototype for me right now, and looking forward to it.
That's something I would look forward to also.
We got some other, really innovative products coming, but I'm working with several different people. Personally, I don't want to sell all this stuff. I know what's needed in the industry for what I'm working on,
Mhm.
and so I'm just constantly trying to improve what we have, and then if it works well, then the people that I give it to, they can sell it. Just like I did with Ronald. I come up with an idea and it's his.
Right.
So
Well, have you thought about printing off maybe some of the egg holders for the incubators?
so we actually looked at doing that, and in all honesty, I think it's just as cheap to buy them
Yeah.
because at $10 a piece, it's costing us more than that to make them. So I mean, that's a plastic mold,
Right.
and it's basically like a blow mold.
Mhm.
So
Injection.
injection mold, yeah. So that's a lot faster process. Uh, you know, as far as print time, the materials, and it's going to cost you more to do that than what it's worth. So
Okay.
I personally, I never really cared to have the egg trays. The light diffusers did real well for me. But I had some sent over to me from uh, the UK. Unfortunately, mine are green, not orange, because the ones in the United States are orange. The ones over there, Gavin had done for him, and I really like them. But I like the dragon hatch trays the best because
Those are angled, huh?
yes, and
Yeah.
the eggs. I mean, I get some really long eggs. I get some small eggs, but when they're kicked sideways, they just seem to fit better. And so I really like them.
Yeah, I was actually trying to get some of those ordered today because my tubs ran out of trays before I did tubs. So unfortunately,
Well, I've been
Yeah.
using light diffusers, since I started, and I like them. Just with the egg trays, you don't have to worry about cutting up a bunch of straws. I go out and buy big, huge bulk bags of straws every year and cut them all up, and it's a
Yeah.
pain. And so
Right.
this last year was the first time we tried the dragon hatch trays, and I really like them. I would like to design a better tub, but
Oh yeah.
for egg boxes, but that's down the line. I am working with somebody and possibly getting that done. No,
I think I went to 6 different stores trying to find the exact size for my
Home
tray.
Depot. Home
I
Depot.
actually I could not find them at Home Depot. I ended up finding them at Target, and they were $1.50 a piece.
Yeah,
So, and they were just perfect.
yeah. You have to get the square bottom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not with the ditch in them.
Yep.
Otherwise they won't work.
Did
Ronald,
like
what were you
that.
trying to say?
Huh?
You were trying to say something earlier about the egg trays.
I don't remember.
Oh,
I'm getting old. I don't remember.
that's okay. No, I don't think they do, Bob. They want to know how universal these products are. Yeah, they're all the racks are different. The dimensions on the racks are different. Earl explained to us that like on the ARS racks and the Freedom Breeder racks, there's more metal going across.
So the
Well,
Freedom Breeder racks are a 1-inch square tubing.
tubing.
There
The
you go.
ARS has a 1 inch, an inch and an eighth, an inch and a quarter square tubing. I'm not understanding exactly why they did that because
Yeah.
it doesn't make a lot of
It's
sense.
mind-boggling to me because that's just seems like that would be a
Well,
lot of
and
trouble.
you would think that they'd want all the little plastic corner pieces being the same because it would be a lot easier,
Unless they got to buy.
yeah. But yeah, that was kind of strange to me, and I didn't know that until we were at the Arlington show. I was set up right behind ARS, and so I took one of the thermostat holders around to them to show them, what we had. And like he said, we put it on the first rack and it was fine. We went to put it on the second rack and it didn't fit. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, it was like a uh-oh moment.
So yes, there is some thoughts on that. And, I have not talked to Ronald about it just yet, but the problem in that is your tub dividers are long. And so a lot of these printers, you can't make a product that long. But they can be made out of stainless steel very easy. So we are talking, we will be talking about that because, I have a lot of people ask me about that. And so like I have the 54-4 rat racks, and those tubs are 54 inches wide. They have 4 water nipples coming in the back. And so to put a divider in the center where you could split up males and females in each tub, in different sizes would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so, that is something we will possibly look at down the road. But there again, you're talking 40, 50 different size tubs, and, there's a lot goes into making each and every one. So, if you do want something like that, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I mean, you can look up Lone Star Reptiles. My phone number is right there. But give me a shout and we can discuss it.
Are we talking for any racks? Is there a specific one
Yeah,
we talking about?
it just says any thoughts on tub dividers, and again, it just depends on the tub as to how we'd have
Yeah,
to build it.
there's so many different types. It would be a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends on the length of the tub. Like if you're working with 28 quart tubs, we know the dimensions on that tub. We could come up with something. But every tub's different. Not everybody uses tubs from Walmart or I mean, when I first started out, I actually, it sounds crazy, but I just used a piece of plastic and hot glued them in. And it made it a real pain to clean them. But it worked, and, I just didn't have the rack space, or the building space for more racks. So I just started splitting the tubs. And, now we have enough room for 1,200 babies down one wall. So I don't worry about that kind of stuff anymore.
That must be nice.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a lot
Ronald,
clean.
how long does it take to print off one?
Each one's different, but say about 10, 12 hours
Okay.
to print one. But the thing is I could print more than one at a time. I can print a couple. Like, I think it depends. Like, one of them I can print 4 at a time. The standalone I can do up to 5 at a time.
Oh.
It just depends on. Now the time will increase, but yeah, roughly about.
But it actually decreases at the same time. It'll
Yeah.
increase the time of the actual job time, but it actually decreases the time because you're not spending 10 hours on each one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then not only that, if you're doing one, if you're not there to swap it out and press play, hit play again, that's time lost. So this way it prints them, so many at one time, and then when it's done, they're all done.
So how much waste do you have after printing one?
Waste, like,
Like after what I have seen is after you print them, you have to pick them up and then there's stuff you have to pull off.
Oh, no. These are designed. They have no
waste at all.
like, there's no supports. There's no supports at all. It holds itself. You do get some string in here and there. It looks like little spider webs all over it, but take a piece of sandpaper and knock that off. But no, there's no waste at all. That's one of the good things that came out about it was that there was no supports and when you start getting into that with supports, man, that could be a headache.
Yeah. Well,
again,
that
the Frankenstein morph there.
Material, that's really awesome.
If you, like I said, if you want to talk about the tub dividers, just give me a call. I've got, we can work on something, but just give us a call.
So now to the good stuff. You want to talk about any LSR Axis or Fire right now? Everybody's dying to hear about it. I've had people hit me up since I went and visited your house the other day.
Yeah, I don't have any LSR Fires available anymore. Holly actually bought the last one I had available. And so we will have quite a few clutches this year. The biggest thing is I don't try to make these things for sale. I mean, I try to make them for myself and, to continue doing what we're doing. But we will have quite a few LSRs for sale this year, the LSR Fire stuff. The Axis gene we just released this year. It is a yellow belly-ish animal. It doesn't do the same thing yellow belly does, but it is in the yellow belly complex. We did do the super form this year. It was incredible. We actually made a Super Axis Fire pinstripe, and a week and a half later, Antoine made a ivory fire pin, and there was no comparison. I mean, it was incredible. the axis was way better looking. The axis also adds a lot of orange into whatever you're working with, so it just intensifies everything tenfold. So if you guys are interested in any of the axis stuff, give me a call. We've got adult males, adult females, we got babies, we got everything for sale right now.
And man, he's got some fire up in that building. I could spend all day over there just looking around and talking to Earl about everything. Just everything. Amazing.
We're just here having fun.
Heck yeah.
I know that what it was, Axis gravel. What it was you
Yeah.
had at the show, that thing was.
Yeah, I called it the Muddy Road.
Muddy Road, yes.
It's actually AXIS. And I named it Axis because it was like on an axis point. I mean, it was throwing so much orange in there that it was just incredible. Everything's out in the snake room. I'm in the house, so right now I can't show anything. But yeah, it's pretty incredible. Let's see. I don't know if you can. Bobby's asking me if I have any to show, but unless he can pull them up.
You need to tell Bobby to get off his bum and go in there and show his, right?
I'm sorry.
I said, you tell Bobby to get off his bum and go show his. He's got one in there now, or two.
Yeah, he's got an Axis pinstripe that's just amazing. So, sorry, I got somebody asking me a question about tomorrow.
Oh, that's okay.
But yeah, let's see. Yeah, so Brian, it was just kind of one of them deals where we didn't really have a name for it for about a year, and it was like everything we were making was just like on this axis point, just really blowing everything up. And so I just come up with the name Axis, and it fits it really well. But yeah, we made what we called the Muddy Road. It was the Axis gravel. It's a highway-ish animal, but it came out orange and purple, and just amazing. Yeah, Bobby's saying he can bring it in if you want. But yeah, just everything we've done with it so far has just been amazing. We're working on clown stuff right now. We're working on desert ghost stuff. I put it into the orange crush. We've got it going into pied. We got stuff every direction with it. So it's going to be really cool to see, what comes about. It is a codom. We did prove that it's a codom, and that was one of the biggest things, is trying to figure out, whether it was dominant or codominant. We knew it wasn't recessive. And then how well it was going to work, in the yellow belly complex. And we've done quite a few yellow belly complex animals, and we're producing stuff that's a lot different than, what the yellow belly is. So it's pretty cool.
It is cool. And to see everything you've done with it, it's mind blowing. And I'll tell y'all what Earl did. He handed me a really expensive snake my first time over there and was like, hey, guess how much this is worth? And I started shaking. Very nervous. Yeah,
we're gonna put the Axis into the lavender puzzle.
And what's in that one exactly?
That's an Axis pin. It's hard. Your camera's not picking up all the oranges in it.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell it don't look like a regular pin.
See if I can turn on the big light and see if that'll help any.
Yeah, it's really not picking it up.
Yeah, so on her belly, the orange is just on the belly is just crazy. Looks like
the Axis by itself has orange stripes on every scale on the belly, and going across the bellies. And so a lot of the white-bellied animals, it doesn't come all the way across, but you can see it coming into the belly. On that pinstripe, it was just amazing how it reacted with that white belly from the pinstripe. But the oranges on that thing are incredible. I wish that camera would actually pick it up because
You too.
it's a whole lot prettier than what it's showing right now.
I am taking pictures tomorrow of them though. I just didn't
Yeah.
have the time today.
Where that came straight from the wild, or you got that from?
It come from Africa back in 2010. We got quite a few animals from Africa that year, and it was just one of them animals that the belly was strange to me, so I kept it. And the male, I mean, it was a male. The male bred the very first year. We only had him to one clutch, or one female. We got one clutch. She laid the eggs, and he died 2 days later.
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
And so we thought we'd lost, everything. Well, unfortunately, we had put it to a fire that was not my line of fire, and I produced everything under the sun with the axis, but every one of them had fire in them for the longest time. I couldn't seem to get the fire back out of it. And so it took me several years to actually get some stuff that didn't have fire in it. And then we finally hit the supers this year. But now we've got it into everything. I've got it in my LSR fire finally. So.
Hey, Prophet, how you doing? Well, guys, we're sitting on an hour now, so I guess we could wrap this up and let everybody get back to their evening. I appreciate y'all coming on here. My first episode, very special.
Thanks for having us.
Anybody has any questions, you can get a hold of Earl. He's really easy to find. Ronald, if you don't have their information, you can contact me or Bobby. We'll get it to you as quick as we can. So,
And like I said, if you want, you can put the phone number in the bottom. However, I mean, I'm fine with that.
all right. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
All phases complete.
We do.